Well, hello there, people of the internet, and hello again. I'm TheMBmulti. Welcome to, I think this is part 11 of my Doki Doki SNAFU series. In the previous episodes, we went to Akihabara, or whatever, a district in Japan, apparently, where there is a lot of otaku stuff. And I went shopping with Kiba. It is Golden Week, which is a time where we're off school, apparently. And I'm preparing to go to the festival with the literature club. However, just before we start, I have to disclose something, because if you pay attention, you can actually see that the skip button is active. Which means that I've already been through this part, and that is 100% true. I recorded 2 motherfucking hours of Doki Doki Literature Club, and then my recording software decided to say, hey, fuck you, bitch! We're going to mess up your microphone audio. Again, I can't remember when it was last time it happened, because it happened before, but I can't remember which game it was. I believe it was my Chimeria campaign in Rome 2 to the War, I think. But yeah, my entire audio is fucked up. Well, you just hear a bunch of chipmunk noises when the game audio is fine, perfectly fine. My microphone magically just doesn't work. All of a sudden you hear chipmunk noises, and that's it. And I have absolutely no idea what causes it, because I didn't do anything to cause it, and I also didn't do anything to fix it. I just started the recording software up, and then I obviously, after I wasted 2 hours, I was fucking pissed off, so I recorded just to make sure it actually works, and now it's perfectly fine. It's like, oh yeah, everything is fine. I didn't do anything. I didn't change shit. I did not change a single setting. I did absolutely nothing. And now magically the problem is fixed. It's a good thing that you're not physical here, because I would have slapped you. I would give you the biggest bitch slap in history. A backhand. Oh, yeah, there we go. That was not the biggest bitch slap in history, but whatever. It's fine. So, I have actually recorded 2 entire hours of Doki Doki SNAFU. Which I can all throw in the trash, because obviously you get to see the game audio, and you get to hear the game audio, you get to see the sprites and my face cam up here in the corner, but you will only hear creepy, weird chipmunk noises instead of what I'm actually saying. So all that 2-hour footage, 2 episodes, all thrown in the trash, and now I have to do it again. So, yeah. I already know what's coming. I don't remember all the lines, obviously, but I do know what's coming, so yeah. I'm just gonna say it right now. Again, I have absolutely no idea what caused the problem, because like I said, I did nothing to cause it, and I also did nothing to fix it, and now it's magically fixed. I have absolutely no idea. It is, how should I put this fucking bullshit? So anyway, let's continue, but for me it is, let's redo. Looking up from the notebook that's been all but engraved into my brain, I see night has already fallen. Sucks that the break went by so quickly, but at least midterm shouldn't be as big of a pain now. Intelligence increased by 8. So of course, before Golden Week I was asked to either go athletics or, study, or both. A little bit of each. But I decided to go full study, because I don't care about athleticism, and oh, hey, look at that, I am 18 over 15, so I should increase intelligence. Yeah, there we go. Intelligence has increased from informed to experts. So if we go to appeal again, see, I'm rank 2 right now. So, when the opportunity arises, I can actually tackle talking with Monika. Sigh. Now all that's left is the club's festival meetup. Pulling out my phone, I double-checked the address Sayori posted to the group chat. A 45-minute train ride into the sticks don't know what sticks means. I mean, I know what a stick is, but I don't know what it means in this context. I guess like outskirts or something? Doesn't exactly seem like a good sign, but at least there will be less people around. Even if the place is packed, I still have the option of slipping away and coming home. Surely my general attitude up until now has prepared them for such a situation. Guess all we can do now is see where things go from here. Alright, Thursday, May 5th. Here we are at the festival. The sun has nearly set by the time Sayori and I get near the meeting spot. Guess you two showing up together shouldn't be a surprise. The other 3 girls are already standing in a small huddle when we arrive. We do live on the same street after all. Don't you live nearby too, Natsuki? You could have come with us. Sorry, but Yuri and I had already agreed to ride together. My father drove the 2 of us here. He was worried the trains would be crowded since today's the final day of Golden Week. That's understandable. Ours wasn't too bad, but it'll probably be a different story by the time we leave. So what about you, Monika? Did you get a ride here too? Yep. The lack of elaboration makes me think the explanation involves something only trust fund kids could relate to. What should we do now? What should we do now that everyone is here? We came for a festival, right? Doesn't that involve walking through stalls and whatnot? Take a look around and you'll understand why she asked. Huh? The stalls haven't finished setting up quite yet, meaning we have some free time at the moment. Ah, gotcha. Did you two see anything anywhere interesting on your way from the station? Sayori and I remained silent for a moment. Well, about that. No offense, but this town is about as developed as a logging site. I see. It was the same for us. Apart from a convenience store and some old houses, there's really not much here. Speaking of a place in that manner is incredibly rude, Natsuki. Huh? And why didn't you scold Mark when he called it a logging site? She glances at me before beginning to fidget with her hair. Well, playing favorites much? If it makes you feel better, Natsuki, science has now validated your birth mother's decision to abandon you on a doorstep. If it makes you feel better, Natsuki, know that I reprimand myself on a daily basis for my general poor performance as a human being. Are you serious? Nope, I live with no regrets. Just how irresponsible is this guy? Without any interesting locations around, how do you propose we spend our free time? Ooh, let's talk and learn more about each other. What is this, an AA group? Not to rain on your parade, but don't the 4 of us know enough already? Plus, who would ever want to learn more about him? Actually, again? Jeez, why not just marry the guy already? As wholesome of a recommendation as that sounds, don't forget Mark is still new to the club. No need to put him on the chopping block quite yet. Even though Monika's acting nonchalant, it almost feels as though she's defending me. Thanks for the assist, but I actually have a question of my own. Oh yeah, Yuri just disappears here for a second, I don't know why. Oh, what's on your mind? Why did we wear our uniforms to an event not sponsored by the school? Exactly! Sayori's eyes become filled with fire as she shouts this. I tried convincing her to let us dress up more, but she wouldn't listen. We would have looked way cuter wearing kimonos. She probably just wanted to make sure Mark didn't act like a delinquent. Even he's not dumb enough to go around acting like a pervert while in his uniform. A good theory. But she may have also wanted to spare the rest of us from witnessing your casual fashion sense. My fashion sense? What's that supposed to mean? That's supposed to mean. Sayori may have mentioned something about a frilly pink skirt. Natsuki shoots Sayori a piercing glare. I only told him about how cute it was. Now, let's not bully the youngest member of the club too much. I'd feel responsible if she were to grow up resenting her seniors. And I'm sure all the clothes Natsuki owns are equally as cute as she is. A good lot of seniors you are. I was hoping at least Monika would act mature. Unable to rely on the president's help, Natsuki looks to her last hope, Yuri. The look on her face says there's no way Yuri would say something embarrassing. She's super nice and doesn't have a single funny bone in her body. I'm definitely safe with her. Frilly pink skirt? Are they referring to the one you often wear alongside the tank top that has a little pink cat head printed on the chest? Gah! A critical hit. Are you okay, Natsuki? They're just comfortable. Not like I think they're cute or anything. The 5 of us continue talking as more people arrive around us. By the time the sun has almost gone down, the area is considerably more crowded than any of us expected. Who'd have thought so many people would be interested in coming to a little bumpkin town like this? Mark, shh! You'll make the locals mad. Good, and it'll probably be the first emotion they've felt since moving to such a backwater. She begins tugging on my shirt in an attempt to shut me up. Unfortunately for those around us, Sayori isn't the only one with her hands full. But perhaps we should head home after all. Getting caught in traffic later tonight would reduce how long we're able to sleep before attending school tomorrow. Not to mention how dangerous driving in the dark can be, especially in rural areas. Come on, the festival hasn't even started yet and you're already trying to bail? I'm simply thinking of the future. With all the bustling going on, nobody takes notice of how Monika has been avidly scanning every arriving group for the last several minutes. Looks like nobody has recognized me yet. Let's just hope this remains the case for the rest of the night. I appreciate silence as much as the next socially ill-adjusted young adult, but there's still a limit. There's probably lots of nice things around here too. I mean, doesn't the whole area seem super nature-y? Only national parks and dead-end towns promote things like views and nature. Do you have any idea how much time I spent convincing you to come out here with us? And don't forget you're also my ride back. I didn't bring any train fare, which means I'll have to leave whenever you do. I'm truly sorry, Natsuki, but with all these people around, stop worrying about them. Aside from your height and monstrous chest, nobody's ever gonna notice you. What does my chest have to do with anything? Maybe Sayori is right. Dressing up more for an event like this would have been kinda nice. Still, having too much fun could have caused problems. There's no telling what someone who recognized me would tell my parents if they saw me in such a state. Yeah, okay, so we get a bit of a backstory of Monika here. So it looks like her parents are very strict or whatever, and she isn't really allowed to have that much fun. So my theory is that either her parents are like very much against that, and like they prepare her very much for like college or the future or whatever, and having fun does not fit in their worldview, and therefore Monika is not really allowed to have fun or whatever. Or it is self-imposed or whatever. That not necessarily that her parents are saying that, but the way they've acted, Monika's like, like I'm gonna get grounded or whatever, so I have to not have any fun or whatever. I can only work or something. Or like maybe as well because she is not as bright or whatever as everybody thinks. Everybody thinks like she's a class A star, of course, because she has a lot of good grades, but maybe not because she is naturally super smart, but just because she works very hard or whatever. Like, she has to, like, fucking spend I don't know how much time to learn and study things. Also, I have this background is fine, but why on earth is there a crosshair in the middle? I noticed that during my failed recording too. Like, why the fuck is there a crosshair in the middle of this background? It's very weird. See, it's here too. Like, what the fuck? It stands even more out right now, and then it's dark. Our dysfunctional little group continues bickering amongst itself for a while longer before anyone notices the stores have begun opening. But don't you hate going to Tokyo too? What happened to that? She freezes mid-sentence. Ooh, something smells delicious! Looking past her, I see people have begun lining up at the various stalls. Seems things have finally kicked into higher gear. Okay everyone, let's go join in. Quit being a baby already! What are you even worried about? It's not like you're ever going to see any of these people ever again. We all take notice of Natsuki's dilemma as Yuri wears an expression screaming, "Help me." You don't look so good, Yuri. Is something the matter? Well, the crowds, they make me feel anxious. Jeez, I should have known this would happen. With Natsuki rubbing her temples and the other two lost for words, now seems like the ideal time for me to voice my opinions. To be completely honest, I feel the same way. I've been growing more uncomfortable ever since people started showing up in droves. Not you too. Mark. That said, I promised Sayori that I try keeping up with everyone. And I prefer keeping my daily like count to a minimum. Here, Yuri, let's see if this helps. What are you? Reaching down, I take her hand in mine. Chaos erupts immediately. The hell do you think you're doing? Oh, so this was your Truco after all. Guess she's the one you decided to choose, huh? We Would you all calm down for a moment? Whatever's going through your mind, just know it's way off base from reality. Then why else would you randomly grab her hand? There's nothing random about this. Please do elaborate. Well, this isn't an easy thing to explain, but I have a tendency to repel people during these kinds of situations. Repel? What, like a magnet? You really expect us to believe that? He's not lying. Huh? Whenever we're in a big group, there's always some free space left around Mark. Regardless of how cramped the area is. You gotta be kidding me. Incredible. To think our newest member would have such an antisocial superpower. Please don't call it that. This gave me a lot of grief as a kid, you know? I see. So you're only holding my hand to keep distance between me and other people? Of course, that's the most reasonable explanation. Yuri begins vigorously nodding her head while trying to convince herself. Which part of this is even remotely reasonable? You know what? Fine, let's say you do magically keep people away. In that case, is holding hands really necessary? Couldn't you just walk next to her? Under normal circumstances, sure. But look, I point towards the main strip, which is now totally crammed with festival goers. There's still a chance of us getting separated in the crowd. This is merely a preventative measure. In fact, the rest of you should do something similar so we don't all get split up. No matter how much you rationalize, it still sounds like you're just trying to flirt with Yuri. Flirt? We're only holding hands. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. Come to think of it, Yuri has been blushing pretty hard this whole time. Sorry, I hadn't realized. Are you uncomfortable, Yuri? Me? Well, if this prevents us from getting separated, then I suppose it's fine. See, Natsuki? Holding hands isn't a surefire sign of romance. Why am I getting lectured on romance by the densest person here? She shouts this before letting out a sigh. Fine, do whatever you want. No point in arguing with the human equivalent of a lead brick. Still, keeping hold of one another might not be the worst idea. Getting lost in the crowd would be super scary. I agree. Great, in that case... Sayori quickly takes hold of my remaining free hand. Not you too! A mischievous smile creeps across Monika's face as she watches Natsuki's despair. With everyone else doing it? What do you say, wanna hold hands, Natsuki? Well, why are you asking me? Come on, it'd be cute. I'd feel like I was walking around with my daughter. What's that supposed to mean? Hey, stay away from me! She has to dodge away as Monika continues teasing. Just what kind of crappy rom-com is this supposed to be? An excellent question followed by several more minutes of chaos. Once things had finally settled down between us, we began our journey through the strip of lantern-lit stalls. Within about 10 steps, Sayori relinquished her grip on me to go buy takoyaki with Monika. Takoyaki with Monika. Natsuki, Yuri and I are currently standing off to the side waiting for them. Now that we're no longer walking, do you think... Oh, right. She lets out a deep breath as I release her hand. Thanks. I'm not sure how much more my heart could take. Nothing, it's nothing. This really is bizarre though. What is? The way nobody else gets close to you. It really is like a technique you'd see in a manga. You got some kind of barrier up or something? Can't say. If there is one around me, it's well beyond my control. At least this gives you an excuse for why you don't have any friends. Tss, you trying to pick a fight out here, you little punk? Sure. Sure, you want all these people seeing you get schooled by a girl? That wouldn't be an issue. Gender norms have come a long way the past few decades. That wasn't the point! It appears you two are as lively as ever. Both girls return carrying steaming hot trays of dumplings. Octopus, huh? Here I thought you'd preferred squid. Why's that? You know, because Monika? It's right there in your name. Wow, what a knee slapper. Nobody asked you. I thought it was funny, Natsuki. You know, being told that by someone stuffing their mouth feels kinda condescending. Oh, these are super good. Here, you've got to try one. Huh? Wait, don't just shove it in my mouth. Before having time to escape, Natsuki receives a mouthful of dumpling. What did I just say? She tries in vain to reprimand Sayori while chewing. You too, Mark. Say After receiving food in the same way as an obedient dog, my mouth is soon filled with the sweet flavor of batter and octopus. That is good. Right? Okay, Yuri, you're up next. Sayori approaches the next target with fire in her eyes. Honestly, does that girl have any worries at all? You'd be surprised. And you! Natsuki points her finger directly at my nose. Don't you think you're a little too cooperative? What do you mean? You didn't so much as blink when she asked you to open your mouth. Just how often are you letting her feed you? How often? Yes. That's not an answer! Now, it's nothing to get riled up over, Natsuki. I'm sure Mark would let you feed him too if you asked him nicely. Saying this, Monika lifts a piece of her takoyaki before motioning it towards Natsuki. What am I supposed to do with that? Go on, just be honest. You've got as good a chance as the other two. Chance? Her face is deep red when she watches me with an angry glare. You better not be getting any ideas. She's making all this stuff up. I'm aware. Ugh. Acting all calm like that almost pisses me off even more. So, how was it? Quite delicious, really. Though for a moment I was afraid you'd tried feeding me as well. I'm beginning to feel as though I dodged a bullet by buying my own. So, yo, Vice President! Try not to burn through all your energy just yet. Wouldn't want you down and out before we even reach the end. No worries, sir. I've been filling up my reserves ever since Golden Week started. That a fact? Where should we go after you two finish eating? Given the number of stalls, I'm sure we'll stumble upon something good once we start walking around again. That's how we found the takoyaki place after all. Found? You could see it from the entrance. Let's not get distracted by the little details. Is this group gonna be okay? Once Sayori and Monika have finished off the remainder of their snack, the five of us once again delve into the crowds, the massive crowd right here. As we continue walking along the path, the girls frequently make stops at whatever stalls happen to grab their attention. Surprisingly, Monika appears intent on trying as much festival food as possible, while Natsuki is more interested in the various games of skill. Sayori, being Sayori, goes along with whatever looks like fun. While passing by a shooting gallery, Natsuki suddenly challenged Sayori to a contest. Monika, giving into her inherent competitiveness, decided to take part as well. With the three of them currently lined up for their duel, I'm left alone with Yuri on the sidelines. You sure you didn't want to join them? I'm fine here. My skill, or lack thereof, would have only gotten in the way of their fun. So festival games aren't your forte? I'm afraid not. But what about you? Did you not wish to go along with them either? To me, watching them have a good time is more enjoyable than actually taking part myself. That is actually kind of like true for like IRL me too. Not to say that I never would participate in any like group games or whatever, because actually not that long ago I went bowling with a whole bunch of friends. So that's not really like... And of course I won't just be the one guy that never does anything and just sits there. But, you know, like in other times when, like with family or whatever, when there's like a quiz or something, or like whatever, I do usually like being the referee or the quiz master or whatever, you know, facilitating the fun instead of actually participating in it. But again, that doesn't mean that I never actually do participate in anything, but, you know, like in those various situations, like it's a bit difficult to describe everything, of course, but there are various situations where I prefer to, like, well, what this says right here, watching the others enjoy it is more enjoyable for me than actually like taking part as well. And like I said, I like to, you know, occasionally facilitate the fun rather than participate in it, which is again more enjoyable for me. Plus, I did say I'd stick with you. Yuri's gaze falls towards the floor. Sorry. Sorry for making you go out of your way like this. If not for my own cowardice, you'd be able to enjoy the festival better. She hides her face before beginning to fidget with her hair. Better enjoy the festival, huh? Hey, Yuri. Hmm? Oh! You've got the wrong idea. Huh? Yuri appears both surprised and confused as she begins rubbing over the spot on her forehead that's just been flicked. Yeah, I actually fucking did that to her. Don't think of the situation as just Mark taking care of Yuri, because it actually goes both ways. Even if you weren't here, I'd still be spending most of my time on the sidelines. Only then I'd be alone. That or Sayori would go out of her way to keep me company. But with you here, she can enjoy the festival without worries and I have someone to spend time with while the others are busy. That's how I'm setting this anyways. Truth be told, the part about Sayori's enjoyment is the only one I'm actually concerned with. Mark? Surely you can't mean that? I do. Plus, isn't it the senior club member's responsibility to take care of her needy junior? She stares at me wide-eyed before a soft smile forms on her face. Thank you, Mark. And sorry for being such a troublesome senior. Even though she's apologizing again, there's a reassuring warmth to her words this time around. My attention is quickly pulled away by Monika, who strolls up to us holding a large fur plushie. This is why I only challenged Sayori. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? Now, you two, there's no need to be upset. This was the only possible outcome after all. She gives the defeated girls a wink while holding up her prize. Her smug look only makes me angrier. Monika can be kinda scary when she gets serious. Looks like your little competition went well. Well? Are you kidding me? I would have thought she was cheating if it had been any other game. The stall owner said Monika's the first person who's ever gone 3 full rounds without missing a single shot. Oh, what can I say? Guess Lady Luck just happened to be on my side. Yeah, Monika's a goddamn sniper. Tch, honestly. Whatever, I'm not even mad anymore. She says angrily. Come on, let's take... come on, there's a taiyaki stand right over there and I'm in the mood to eat. Natsuki? Not bothering to actually ask, Natsuki grabs Yuri's elbow and begins pulling her. You haven't had anything since the takoyaki Sayori shared, right? Surely you've got to be at least a little hungry by now. That's... Ooh, count me in too! Wait! I witnessed something resembling a kidnapping as the 2 girls eagerly pull Yuri away into the crowd. Well, she'll probably be fine with both Sayori and Natsuki looking after her. Glancing over, I noticed Monika scanning over her new amphibious friend. Didn't take you for someone who still liked stuffed animals? An accurate observation. It's been over a decade since I've last owned one. Gonna keep it? A shadow falls over her face as she continues staring at the plushie. Things like this, they're childish, are they not? Absolutely. Then I should... But Zoe's always trying to act like an adult. Huh? She appears shocked for a moment, though her serious demeanor doesn't stay gone for long. Honestly, there you go preaching to me again. Thank you. Huh? For earlier, when Yuri brought up learning more about me. Thanks for stepping in. Is that really something worth showing gratitude for? For a guy shrouded in secrets, you must be completely helpless if the curiosity of a socially awkward bookworm is enough to make you nervous. Even though her words are haughty, not naughty, I'm not sensing any genuine ill will from her. You're not wrong. Truth be told, I'm just a helpless, no-good little brat who wants everyone else thinking he's mature. Perhaps this sounds familiar? Might want to add intolerable to that list. Might as well. Everyone else already has. Mark, Monika? Sayori suddenly appears from the crowd holding an empty food wrapper. There you are! Yeah. Did you need something? We were gonna keep going through the stalls after Yuri and Natsuki ate, but then realized you two weren't with us. Sorry about that. But I figured giving Mark some one-on-one time to flirt with me was only fair. He has been awfully occupied with you and Yuri after all. Flirt? Is she serious? Of course not. She's only trying to get you riled up. Sayori looks at Monika expectantly. Phew. Oh, the others are still waiting for us. Come on, we should hurry and go meet them. Hold your horses for a moment, will ya? Huh? Hi, Sayori. Mark, what are you... Your lips. Huh? Placing my hand on her chin, I use my thumb to wipe away red bean paste lingering the corner of Sayori's mouth. You ate too fast and got some on your face. Her cheeks grow an even deeper red as she stands bewildered in front of me. Ah, must not have noticed. You said the others are waiting, right? Let's go. Right. Honestly, there's no way he's doing this stuff like that on accident. No wonder Sayori's so worried about him all the time. Monika, are you coming? Yep, I'm on my way. The three of us have reunited with the other two. Once the three of us have reunited with the other two, we all continue walking along the path together. As we're approaching the end of the store, Sayori begins excitedly pointing ahead of the group. Ooh, look at that! A shrine path? What's with all the people lined up for it? Today is Child's Day, remember? I imagine a lot of parents are taking the time to pray for their family's health and well-being. We should all go too! Doesn't visiting a shrine together sound super fun? Did you not hear her just say Child's Day? I don't know about you, but I for one haven't been going around doing any procreating recently. Come now, Mark, there's no need to be a stick in the mud. Huh? Many students also visit shrines during Golden Week to pray for good luck on their exams. We do have midterms in this month after all. Both Sayori and Natsuki take on a ghastly appearance as the topic of testing comes up. Aren't festivals all about having fun and relaxing? How are we supposed to do that when you start bringing up school stuff? Having fun doesn't excuse you from your responsibilities as a student. If I'm remembering correctly, midterms begin on the 22nd this year, which means we've got 2 more weeks to study. The fact that you just thought you could cover up saying slack off with study is pretty absurd, especially considering how little studying you actually do. That's not important right now. I'm with Natsuki. We shouldn't be talking about stressful things while we're here. Stressful, huh? Tell me, are you stressed out about over the exams, Monika? Can't say that I am. What about you, Mark? Feeling uneasy? No, not in the slightest. Yuri? I've still got a fair amount of studying to do, but I intend to be well prepared by the time they come around. The three of us turn to face Natsuki and Sayori. Jeez, don't gotta rub it in. Meanies. Well, putting academics aside for a moment, a shrine visit may still make everyone feel more at ease. Does anyone disagree? None of us speak up. I mean, we're already walking together through the area. We've already walked through the area once, so might as well. I have no objections either. That's the spirit. What about you, Mark? I look between Sayori's bright smile and the seemingly unmoving line behind her before letting out a sigh. Alright, I've got no problem going along with the group. Mob mentality and whatnot. Then the decision is unanimous. Before you get too excited, isn't there still a glaring issue you're forgetting to address? He follows my gaze towards the tree line. The shrine's at the top of the hill and people are backed up almost to the stalls, which means this isn't gonna be a quick in and out. You've got a good point. So what? 5 of us all standing in line together could still be fun. None of the girls appear to share Sayori's enthusiasm about this plan. Sayori is definitely the only person that can be enthusiastic about standing in line somewhere. Having one person hold a spot for the rest of us would be more efficient, but I'd hate to leave anyone behind. Then how about I do it? Occupying space is about the only thing I'm good for after all. They all look at me with surprise. A nice gesture, though a little depressing when worded that way. Are you sure, Mark? You really don't have to go out of your way for us. We'd understand if... I'd say let him. Unlike somebody here, he's not exactly dying to go and try all the stalls. Don't worry about me, Sayori. The 4 of you should focus on enjoying the festival in the meantime. Really? I'd feel bad if you weren't having fun. It's fine, honestly. Plus, standing in a line will be much easier for me than being completely surrounded by people. You said it'll be fine, Sayori. Jeez, do the two of you have to act all like an old married couple every chance you get? If you're asking whether we're legally obligated, I wasn't! Well, if you really don't mind staying... Right as Sayori is about to accept my proposal, Yuri suddenly steps into conversation. Well, I'm thankful for your willingness to help, Mark. There may be another issue. How so? Over there. Yuri brings our attention to what looks like a hastily constructed sign set next to the shrine path. You can only hold a maximum of 2 spots, huh? Guess a lot more people showed up than they expected. This certainly puts a dent in our current plan. Seems Mark won't be becoming the club's very first martyr after all. I wasn't planning on dying in line, you know. Still, she's not wrong about this being a problem. 2 of them will be forced to stay behind. Us. 2 of us will be forced to stay behind unless we can somehow double our number of spots. Visiting the shrine would feel wrong unless we were all there together. Maybe we should just scrap the idea. Mark probably wasn't looking forward to standing by himself anyways. Ah, so Natsuki does have a heart, a bit. Or at least I hope he wasn't. Now, there's no reason to give up so easily. The sign says you can only hold a spot for 2 people, right? In that case, the solution is simple. We'll just have a second person stand in line with him. Ooh, that's a great idea! Then we wouldn't have to worry about him getting bored and sneaking home. Were you thinking he'd actually do that? She looks at me expectantly. Well, the idea may have crossed my mind. There's really no helping this guy, is there? Assuming everyone is okay with this new plan, there's still the matter of deciding who else stays. The 3 girls immediately look at Sayori in unison. It's kinda embarrassing having everyone stare at the same time. Are you surprised? You were the one going on about not wanting him to be alone. Of course, the decision is still yours to make. We'd understand if you chose to revisit the stalls instead. Sayori glanced between Yuri and Natsuki before looking back towards me. Right as she's about to speak though, Monika interrupts. While having Sayori stay does seem like the obvious choice, we still wouldn't want her feeling pressured. As though I believe the best way for this to be decided is... She points a finger straight at me. We let Mark choose. Seriously, why me? That's what I'm thinking. Why should he of all people get to decide? Mark was the one who originally volunteered for this job, remember? Wouldn't giving him a say in the matter be the most sensible thing to do? I agree, this solution would feel the most fair. Same here. Mark always thinks things through, so I'll trust his decision. She glances between the girls and me for a moment before finally letting out a sigh. Since everyone else is already on board, I guess it's fine. Not like he's gonna pick me anyways. Then we're all in agreement. So Mark, who will it be? Even though they're all at risk of missing out on further enjoying the festival, they still decided this was the best method to choose who stays. Being indecisive at this point would be an insult to their resolve, but knowing this doesn't make the choice any easier. If you're all serious about this, then I suppose I'll choose. And then, in my failed recording, I decided... I actually wanted to choose Monika, but Monika isn't even in the list. Poor Monika. I guess if you already had enough intelligence and charisma, then and you could have talked to Monika before the festival started, I guess then Monika would have been an option. But yeah, I kind of wanted to choose Monika. And then I had a really tough time choosing between Yuri or Sayori, and then I eventually actually chose for Natsuki to try to smooth things out a little bit with her. Which I kind of regretted because I kind of wanted to talk with Yuri too. Yeah, when I chose for Natsuki, we talked about you get to choose out of 3 topics to talk about or whatever. Right, so I'll save it there. Which was my temporary save just now for this redo recording. Do I go and do the same thing again that I did last time and choose Natsuki? Or do I actually go for Yuri now? I kind of feel bad keeping Sayori away from the food and stuff. I'll just go with what I did before. I chose Natsuki last time in the failed recording, so I'll choose Natsuki again. Huh? Why me? Your name starts with the letter N. So much for thinking things through. What does the first letter of my name have to do with anything? Nothing whatsoever. Anyone else want to volunteer? You'll be fine. There isn't a single group of people that get along better than the 2 of you, after all. Thanks, Natsuki. I'll buy you some takoyaki later. Your willingness to... Yeah, you're willing to help everyone is truly admirable, Natsuki. I'm certain you'll find good fortune. Natsuki's pleas of help fall on deaf ears as the three girls head back towards the stalls. So this is what it feels like to be totally abandoned. I'm still here? That's the problem! Oh? Doing her best to ignore my presence, Natsuki focuses entirely on the act of line standing. 10 minutes pass without so much as a word between us. This little war of silence finally ends when Natsuki, still looking straight ahead, begins speaking. You weren't planning on to do anything weird, right? Do you really have to ask? We're in public, surrounded by people and wearing our school uniforms. I mean, sure, maybe if it was a little darker. See, this is why I asked! Well, don't worry too much. My reason for choosing you was entirely pure. That's not very convincing given what you just said. Your suspicion is understandable, but believe me when I say that this was all an attempt to make up with you. By doing what? Forcing me to stand in line? You catch on quickly. Still, I can't tell if you're mean or just stupid. A good author leaves such things for the reader's imagination. Since when did this become a novel? A visual novel, Natsuki? If only you knew. She looks at the ground with an exhausted expression, giving me time to think over my course of action. While the back and forth between us is amusing, my life in the clubroom would become much less convenient if she were to end up legitimately hating me. Having a normal conversation here and there could go a long way in preventing that. But out of all the girls, she's the one I have the least in common with. What would we even talk about? She's like, oh, what would she say about Yuri or whatever, you know? But I decided to talk about the trip to Akihabara because that's something that Natsuki would find interesting. I'm not sure if this is something you'd care about, but I took a trip to Akihabara recently. Natsuki's head quickly shoots up. Huh? Did you say Akihabara? That's right, a classmate and I went last Saturday. Sayori mentioned your name after learning I was there, which made me think you might be interested in hearing more about it. She tilts her head while staring at me dumbfounded. You serious? Do I have any reason to lie? Her obvious skepticism leads me to explain more of the details. A classmate told me that him and his family were going out of town during Golden Week and that he wanted to hang out before they left. The specific details weren't established, so it wasn't until he arrived in my house Saturday morning that I learned of his plan to visit Akihabara. Well, I normally refuse such a surprise trip. His stubbornness can be a pain to deal with. Fast forward 20 minutes and I'm on a train bound for Tokyo. Still don't believe me? Well, I'm having trouble wrapping my head around the idea of you having someone other than Sayori that'd be willing to invite you on a trip. That's understandable. The invitation came as a surprise to me as well. So you are aware of it. She lets out a sigh. Is this classmate of yours an otaku? Something along those lines. Guess that much should have been obvious. Normal people aren't casually taking day trips to Akiba. So? Interested in hearing more? Well, it couldn't be any worse than standing here in silence. In that case... I told her of the many stores and pieces of merchandise we saw during our trip. While my understanding of certain things was still limited, Natsuki seemed interested nonetheless. She even interrupted me occasionally to better describe what certain items were or why people would be interested in buying them. Her hesitance to discuss the subject faded almost entirely once the conversation actually started. By the time we left, the two of us combined could barely carry everything he had bought. Sounds like this guy's in pretty deep. Pretty deep goes beyond being an understatement. My shoulders go slack just recalling the memory. What about you? End up buying anything? Can't say I did. Seriously? Even if you're not super into otaku stuff, was there really nothing that caught your attention? Don't get me wrong, I considered buying several things. My brain just couldn't justify spending money on any of them. Oh, I guess there's not much you can do when money's the issue. Natsuki appears to misunderstand something about my finances, but correcting her doesn't seem necessary. Meant to ask earlier, but what about you? Ever been to Akihabara before? No, unfortunately. I'd like to go someday. That's not really an option right now. Are you comfortable saying why? Comfortable? Heh, you supposed to be my counselor or something? The reason isn't anything bad, I just wouldn't want to go alone. Alone? Couldn't you ask one of your friends from school? Oh wait, your interest in the area is supposed to be a secret, isn't it? She nods. The only people who know are Sayori, Monika, and Yuri. And me, hello, standing right here, Natsuki. Then why not ask one of those three? They're unlikely to refuse an invitation coming from you. True, I can't imagine any of them saying no outright, but that doesn't mean they'd want to go. There's no way I want them to go all the way to Akiba just for me. Hey, why are you smiling like that? Is there something funny about my struggles? Sorry, it slipped my mind that even you can be considerate on occasion. What do you mean on occasion? I'm the most considerate person you know. Press X to doubt, Natsuki. Yeah, that a fact? Going back to the issue at hand, why not trying finding someone with the same interest? That shouldn't be too difficult given our school's anime appreciation club. Maybe, but there's only guys in that club. Is that a problem? While being able to talk openly about anime and manga is nice and all, a lot of otaku guys are, well, you know, delusional siskins. That's not really what I was going for, though some like that do exist. Then why not become friends with a girl that likes otaku stuff? Good luck finding one. You might not realize it, but you're incredibly lucky to have met someone like me. She says this with just enough pride to sound pretentious. Right, how foolish of me not to notice. That said, none of the other girls in the club have a problem with your hobby. Not to mention, Sayori still reads romance manga from time to time. Casually reading shoujo? I don't even know how to pronounce it. Barely scratches the surface. Sure, there are a lot more girls into otaku culture now than there used to be, but coming across one in the wild still isn't easy. Plus, you always run the chance of them being obsessed with BL. BL? Bolivia? What? Why would an otaku have an interest in any interest in Bolivia? That's a good question. Then what about Bud Light? Well, that's probably closer to than Bolivia. But why would otaku girls be obsessed with foreign beer? An obsession with alcoholic beverages isn't entirely uncommon. I believe the term for such an affliction is alcoholism. Yeah, I fucking loved that the first time I read that in my field recording. I really should use that. Like, oh yeah, when I meet someone, like, oh yeah, I'm very much into wine or special beers or you know, like, oh, I'm like a real connoisseur. Okay, so what you're saying is you have an alcohol problem. You're suffering from alcoholism. As for why they would specifically choose an American beer, well, isn't buying foreign products something a lot of collectors do? Aren't otaku also a type of collector? It's scary how fast you're able to rationalize completely unrelated things. Are you saying I missed the mark? You think? Well, my knowledge of otaku culture is rather limited. That's probably a good thing in this case. Listen. She leans forward and begins speaking in a hushed voice. BL stands for Boys Love. Boys Love? Love what? You know, each other. Ah, you're referring to the picture of homosexuality. Shh, not so loud! Why not? Seriously. Seriously? Sure, your ability to pick up on social cues isn't this bad. It's just, you know, not something people talk about in public. Do you mean homosexuality in general, or specifically the act of two dudes having the second one! Obviously the second one! Even though she was telling me to be quiet, Natsuki is currently the one drawing everyone's attention. Her face turns a deep red upon realizing this. I knew staying with you was a bad idea. Her mumbling makes me think that I may have strayed off course from my original intention. Sorry. I seem to have a bad habit of saying troubling things when around you. Well, yeah, you are kinda... Wait a second, what are you doing? She panics as I bow my head. This is an apology. Why? The reason I asked you to stay in line was my hope that we'd be able to have a normal conversation. While it may sound naive, I thought doing so would ease some of the wariness you feel towards me and allow us to get along better. Yet I still began teasing you as soon as the opportunity presented itself. Natsuki frantically waves her hands in what is either a sign for me to stop or an attempt at becoming an airbender. I get it, you're forgiven, okay? Just raise your head already, which people are starting to stare. Sorry, even my apologies caused you trouble. Would prostrating myself be enough to earn your forgiveness? It's fine, seriously. Please don't do anything that would make the situation worse. Are you sure? Perhaps I could... She shakes her head. Given how terrible your personality is, asking this directly is probably the only way I'll get a straight answer. Huh? That stuff you said, about wanting us to get along better? Was it true? Yes, those were my honest thoughts. And the reason you chose me to stay was because of that? Did you honestly believe your name starting with an N had anything to do with this? I can never tell with you, jeez. Well, those were my intentions. Sorry if I was stepping out of line. Why? Why did you want to make things better between us? You were in the club first, right? I have no right to make that space uncomfortable for you. You didn't want to make things uncomfortable. I see. But was that the only reason? What do you mean? Nothing, never mind. She seems disappointed by my response. Well, you better feel bad about it. I really like spending time in the club, you know? It would be super pissed if you if you ever did anything to mess that up. And how can you say stuff like, I want us to communicate normally and I want you to feel at ease around me? You're talking to a girl, you know? Did you feel even a little bit embarrassed? She doesn't have to look at me for long before getting an answer. Maybe we should start calling you hopeless and shameless. Doesn't shameless make me sound more like a deviant? No response. I see, guess that shouldn't come as a surprise at this point. Deciding that trying to defend my reputation would be pointless, I returned my attention to the line. We're getting pretty close to the shrine. Want me to message the others? Thanks for offering, but that isn't the best idea. Suddenly seeing a message from you would only make them think I'd done something indecent. Would they be wrong? Ignoring her retorts, I pull my phone out and type "We're near the shrine" in the group chat. Assuming Monika thought ahead and kept them near the line, they shouldn't take too long getting here. Which is a real shame. The two of us don't get alone time together very often. Yeah, I've had enough alone time with you to fill a couple of lifetimes. You're right. It really was special, wasn't it? That's not what I meant. So yeah, a bit more interaction with Natsuki. Not long after this little back and forth, Natsuki was saved by the arrival of the other girls, none of whom were surprised upon seeing her exhausted demeanor. We were near the shrine by the time they finished offering their condolences. By the time our group has reunited, there's only a short distance left between us and the shrine. We arrive on the grounds after only a few minutes, which finally frees me from my linear standing position. Unfortunately, Sayori begins tugging on my sleeve before I'm fully able to savor this newfound independence. Now what you gonna pray for, Mark? Let's see. Given my skepticism towards things such as shrines and wishes, I figured asking for something simple would be the best idea. Like world peace, or maybe $1 billion. I'm not sure those count as simple. I would say he should ask for a brain to go along in that head of his. But $1 billion sounds a lot more realistic. While we're on the topic, might I recommend you pray for a new cutting board? With one of those, you wouldn't have to worry about laying on countertops so often anymore. What did you just say? Come on, you two, at least save the fighting for until after we visited the shrine. You say you're skeptical of shrines, Mark? Do you not believe they're capable of granting a person luck? Well, the answer to that is complicated. Rather than taking a hint, her expression instead reads, please elaborate. Seriously, what are... We're at a shrine surrounded by people and she's basically asking whether I'm religious or not. For an antisocial bookworm, she sure is troublesome. Yeah, I've got no choice but to... Yeah, I'll never dodge the question when this option arises, I'll always answer vaguely. Not exactly. I was raised Shinto, but my beliefs changed rather dramatically around my second year of middle school. During that time I began believing human action, or rather what a person is willing to do or not do is more important than faith in the grand scheme of things. Given how obscure a concept luck is, asking for more of it never really made sense to me. Which isn't to say I have an issue with others praying or making donations, especially when doing so can ease a person's worries or make them more optimistic about the future. That line of rationalization does very much sound like you. Are you still gonna make a wish even though you don't think it'll work? Of course, I am already here after all. Never want to waste an opportunity, huh? I guess wishing big makes sense if you don't think they're going to come true anyways. But there is some logic in that. Those were just joke wishes. I hadn't planned on actually doing them. So you're gonna ask for something serious? Absolutely. Like Monika said, I am a shameless opportunist. But if you don't think it's going to work in the first place, why not just stick with the $1 billion? Try keeping in mind that I was raised Shinto and I had those beliefs cultivated in me for the better part of 14 years. Even with all my rationalizing, completely changing a core value like religion is no easy feat. So while I don't believe a wish or prayer can change anything, there is still a small part of me going, what if it does? Sounds as though you've put quite a bit of thought into this. I still don't get your point. Wouldn't most people have been able to get over that small part after 14 years? Or were you just constantly visiting and praying shrines as a kid? Saying constantly might be a stretch, but I was dragged to one fairly often. Dragged? Wait, so someone was forcing you to go? Were your parents super serious about this kind of stuff or something? Panic spreads over Sayori's face as we realize the conversation is heading in a bad direction. I think I remember who you were talking about, Mark. They were family friends, weren't they? Yeah, a family friend, nothing more. Right. While Natsuki is seemingly on the fence about our answer, the idea of calling that person nothing more than a family friend causes pain to surge through my chest. Bleh. Yeah, there it is. I've always wondered why she took me to shrines and temples so often, even though she wasn't the least bit religious. But now I think maybe it's because she still held out hope. Hope that if anyone's life could be improved through prayer, it'd be mine. Now look at me. At a shrine years later talking about as though she never existed. Honestly, how long do I plan on running from this? How many times can I expect Sayori to bail me out? Pain floods my mouth somehow as I begin sinking my teeth into my tongue. My self-loathing is brought to an abrupt end as Sayori once again pulls on my sleeve, this time with an expression of "Are you okay?" I nod my head before turning my attention back towards the shrine. In doing so, I notice Monika is also staring at me. Even without knowing the full extent of my situation, she's likely still able to put two and two together, which means her agreement to stay silent may not be so hollow after all. Well, understanding Mark may be a lost cause, but what about you, Yuri? Isn't your family Shinto? Indeed, both of my parents practice the faith, but neither are overly strict about it. Sounds kind of like my family. We're all technically Shinto, but the only time we ever visit shrines is on holidays. Which is a shame since going to one together is so much fun. Fun probably shouldn't be your main reason for wanting to visit a shrine. Actually, I quite agree with Sayori. The shrine trips with my family always prove rather enjoyable and often bring with them a sense of peace. Right, I'm always super relieved whenever we get done with a prayer. Oh, what about you, Monika? Isn't your dad foreign? That's right, my father practices Christianity while my mother is Buddhist. Neither of them are particularly devout, or whatever. I don't know. Devout, I guess. But I did grow up learning both. That's so cool. It's nothing special, really. I didn't have any control over what they taught me as a child, after all. Still, the number of subjects you're knowledgeable in is truly impressive. Guess there's a reason you're the one we call president. Oh, does that mean I'm really smart too since I'm vice president? Did you guys hear me? Don't worry, Sayori. You're just as smart as you need to be. Why do I get the feeling you're saying something really mean? There's a feeling of joy as I watch the three girls laugh at Sayori's ditziness together. Once the teasing has stopped, we all take a moment to pray at the shrine. Given how both Natsuki and Sayori could be heard saying the word exam, it isn't hard to guess what the nature of their wishes was. It isn't hard to guess the nature of their wishes. With the clock nearing 10, we decide now would be a good time to begin back. To begin back, okay. Not long after returning to our original meeting spot, a car arrives to pick up Yuri and Natsuki, and is soon followed by another that's come from Monika. Sayori and I exchange farewells with everyone before heading towards the station. The only sound that can be heard as I step into my street is the joyful humming of the girl next to me. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say you had a good time. What gave it away? Her reply is followed by a glowing smile. I never imagined there'd be a day where we enjoyed a festival with a group of friends. The fact that you came makes me really happy, honestly. I rest my hand on her head before gently stroking her hair. What's this for? No reason. Just felt like something I should do after seeing you act all cute and honest like that. Before falling too deeply into embarrassment, she turns her eyes up towards mine. What about you? Did you have fun? It's a strange feeling. Huh? Fun may not be the best word for the experience, but I'm certainly glad I went, if that's worth anything. Sayori stares at me surprised before smiling more softly. Would you do something like this again? Assuming the circumstances are similar? Yeah, I think I would. I'm glad. Following this mumbling, she leans over and rests her head against my shoulder. Finally running low on energy? You could say that. Well, don't go getting too comfortable just yet. We're almost at your house. If I fell asleep right now, would you carry me the rest of the way? As opposed to what? Leaving you on the sidewalk? That's a difficult choice. Meanie. I'm only joking. I'd carry you as far as necessary. It's the least I could do, considering you've been the one carrying me all these years. Alright. Here, we've almost arrived. Not that I mind, but your parents would probably get the wrong idea if they saw you like this. Oh, right. After standing up straight, Sayori approaches the gate to her house. Guess I'll be seeing you later, Ark. Until then. Yeah, the only thing that I mean, of course, there are a whole bunch of Friday, spring semester. There are a whole bunch of times where they, where they use the wrong words, like the wrong your or every instead of ever. Stuff like that. I mean, that's sort of fine, but the only thing that I actually generally find annoying is when they do the 3 M's. Because sometimes putting 3 M's means but other times it means but there's no difference. They use 3 M's for both cases. So I just kind of like have to look at the freaking context to figure out whether Sayori is saying or which is kind of like, why is it so difficult to, when you want Sayori to say, or anybody else to say to put an H in the middle? MHM or something, or like with a few more M's and H's or whatever. And then just regular 3 M's for or whatever, you know? Like, why was that so hard? Just put an H in there to make me think, okay, you mean instead of like, that's the only thing I find very annoying. Like, why? It's not difficult to change 3 M's into MHM, because then immediately I know what I need to say, or you know what they say, how I need to read it to you guys. But no, they use 3 M's for everything, which is very confusing. Anyway, that is the festival redone. So I'll end it off here. So the next episodes, which will also be redone, I will go through the next part of the game. And after that, we finally get to do some blind stuff again, because then I will reach the part that I actually stopped in my field recording. Now, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that... yeah, I'll save it there. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that this time my fucking microphone decided to cooperate, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later, Romans. Walete.